Sure, dude.
All right, it's July 8th, 2018. Jesse's not here tonight, but this is Talk Junkies live. Not really live, but pre-recorded. But we have a special guest tonight. It's my homie Trae. Trae, what's going on, dude?
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
It's been a long time coming.
It has. I think you were supposed to come like last week or something like that, or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, I had to go pick the girls up from the airport.
Yeah, that was last Sunday.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You don't have to go into work details or anything, but let everyone know what you're about, man.
I really don't know what I'm about right now. I just trying to enjoy life and just be happy, basically. I'm looking for a new job that, who knows, I don't know what I want to do. So, back serving tables.
You know,
Enjoy. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone in the United States. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but not everyone does not everyone's very happy right now.
Nobody does what they want to do. Not anybody.
Okay, so maybe
not anybody that I know.
So maybe we could lead that into our first conversation. What would it be like if everyone did what they enjoyed?
It would be a what's the word I'm looking for? A society where basically we don't work for money, we just work for joy, and the government pays us a stipend, and
like a utopia?
Yeah, utopian society is what it would be.
You think that would work?
No, fuck no.
So democracy, well, not democracy, but capitalism is a necessity. All right, it's necessary, I should say. You think so?
I think if you live in a society where people are just given what they need to survive, then society does not work properly, and people start to become crazy.
Did you see that Asian dude on Facebook? It's like trending right now. He's like trying to do a basic income, universal income, and he's running for president in 2000.
That would never work.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg actually brought the idea up where he thinks that our universal income is necessary.
People that if that were to happen, people that are like Mark Zuckerberg, or people that do have initiative to like go above and beyond, would go batshit fucking crazy and like start killing people.
What do you mean?
If everybody was just given equal pay, equal opportunity, equal everything, like people that thrive off of that competition and like going above and beyond and like creating new things would just lose their minds.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't understand like the premise behind it, because you're right, everyone would get the same amount of money, but would you still keep your job? And they're saying that like rich people would just save that money, and I just don't know how it would really work.
I would find it hard to be happy personally. I think that as fucked as society is sometimes, people having something, they have to go to work in order to survive. We'll put the quotations above that, but I don't know. I think some sort of competition in anything is always good. I mean, if there was no competition with big companies like cellular companies and things like that, it just wouldn't work. Monopolistic type ordeals and things like that. I don't know. I think that people that need intellectual conversations and they need their brain to basically operate and think and do things would just go nuts if they didn't have to, and they just were going, day by day. I don't know.
Well, I think how this guy is describing it is that everyone would get $12,000, and that would be it per year of just universal income.
$12,000?
Yeah, so everything would still be. I don't even know if you would describe it as universal income.
So everybody's just getting a $12,000 bonus, and we're still doing the same shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. I'll take $12,000.
So would I. It would definitely stimulate the economy, but they're saying that it would just raise prices.
George Bush has tried to do that before.
It was like
he tried to give everybody like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but like
people
I don't
who
know.
Qualified.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that last week with taxes or whatever, but yeah, I remember being 16 and I got like a $200 stimulus just for nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. That can lead into a bunch of different things, but I think Trump would be for it because it would fucking boost the economy like no other.
Oh yeah.
If everybody got $12,000 of make believe money that they could just give us, it would. They could. It's like, oh, we'll just take out another $1 trillion loan.
Right.
What's another $1 trillion? Already 27. What is it? 27 trillion or something in debt or something crazy.
Last I knew it was like 17 or something crazy, but
I've heard that United States and China have started talking about just a universal reset on debt and stuff as a whole.
that would be dope.
I don't know how that would work. I think shit would go nuts, but I don't know.
I mean, it's all just paperless currency anyways. It's digital. It's in numbers and zeros and bullshit like that.
It's economics is so hard to understand. Like, economists don't even really understand it. They think they do, but it can go in so many different directions.
Yeah, it's progressed to a point where it's just all computer, quantum computers and blockchain, and
It doesn't make sense to the average person that makes $2,000 a month. Like, you could give me $2,000 extra dollars of money that the government is never going to use for anything, and I'm going to be happy. But for somebody that makes millions or billions of dollars, or they might understand it better. I don't know. There's something that we don't know or understand that high ups do or think they do. I
agree. But and that's completely true, because as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, I don't know, and I'm nowhere close to it. So, like, we have our friend, who's trying to be a financial advisor, and whenever he talks to me, he just goes on like a 10-minute rant. And what he says, some of it, makes sense. He's like, rich people, they never really buy their house. He's like, they'll get close to paying it off, and then they'll refinance it, and they'll take that money and buy another house. And then they have two houses. There's only no need to own a house when you think about it. It's just small things like that,
Well, unless you're going to live at that house for your entire life, what's the point? If you're going to live there for 40 years and then eventually pay it off, and then, okay, I guess I'll give this house to my kid, or I'll sell it and then give my kid the money.
Right.
It's like, if you're in your 20s, if say you're 30 and you buy a house, odds are you're going to live there for maybe 5-10 years. So fuck it, who cares? You're just going to sell it and move on.
Yeah.
And if the economy does shoot up and you can sell it for a little bit of profit, that's badass. If not, like, it's not going to affect you that much, really.
Yeah.
In the long term of things.
So yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, man. I have no idea. All I know now is that I just need to start saving money. And then at that point, it's like, what do I do with the money I save? It's just sitting in a bank doing nothing.
Well, yeah, that's the bullshit misconception about saving is people who are successful and rich say that saving is stupid.
They say it's stupid?
Yeah.
Really?
They say you shouldn't save. You should
invest.
You should always invest and have your money working, and hopefully. But that's bullshit too.
Yeah, it's bullshit. They have the money to risk.
Yeah,
we don't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the average person does not understand. It's like all these rich people, they're like, oh, you need to invest. And it's like, well, how the fuck did you get your money in the first place? Tell me. Did you get it from your parents? Probably.
Yeah.
There's not that many self-made millionaires when you look at it from a percentage basis. If you're a millionaire, usually it's something to do with the family, some sort of lineage, some sort of crazy event that you got all this money. It's not just because you're just like a badass smart person that's like, oh yeah, I just created Facebook. That's one in a fucking trillion people.
Yeah, it's worse odds than winning the lottery, I feel like.
Yeah, way worse.
I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan. He did it with some dude from Canada. I don't know his name, but they were just, or maybe not. I forget. I've just watched too many, but he was just saying that basically anyone who makes over $30,000 to $40,000 is in the top 1% technically.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah,
like
whenever you compare it to the world.
Yeah, well, and see, that gets a little tricky too, because if you go to Africa, Asia, India, you have probably 90% of the population that's living in complete and utter poverty,
right,
making $10 a month.
Yeah,
$10 US dollars a month.
But I mean, I feel like that they may be more free. Granted, they're not living in nice house or established communities with water and trash and all that stuff. Because I've watched documentaries where in India it's just like the river's full of plastic and nasty trash and black water. But at the same time, like when you watch documentaries, everyone's they're eating fresh food. Granted, they have to walk miles for water, but would they really trade it to to work than everyday grind?
I don't know. I think that we are so just used to life being easy that we create problems just to bitch and act like life is hard for us when really like we have it better than, like you said, 99.9% of the world population. But those people actually have something to live for daily. They're like, oh, I need to have food today. Like that's their goal for the day. I need to get some food. And we're just like, I'm depressed because I had to go work and talk to people for 12 hours today.
But that's the trade-off. I mean, like, is that it is a fair trade-off if you could live comfortably forever, and I guess some people would be okay with that. But when you live that lifestyle for your whole life, you know, we're accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, like, mentally, it's just like it takes a toll on your psyche, you know.
Oh yeah, well, it's like you said earlier. Like we're just going through the motions. Really, it's like Groundhog Day, same shit every day. It's like I can wake up and fuck off for literally I can literally wake up every day and fuck around. You know, with credit cards and everything that you have, you can. Any person can survive. Because hey, guess what? If you do run out of money, just declare bankruptcy. Then you go on food stamps and you get a stipend from the government. Like,
yep.
No matter what, you're good.
You're good. I mean, it's hard to go homeless in the United States. It's very
Unless
hard.
Unless you want to be.
Right.
There are, I do hear these stories about homeless veterans and stuff, which is completely fucked that we're letting immigrants and stuff come over here and we're, you know, giving them housing and food and stuff when we have veterans who's, you know, served in the military and stuff that are just walking the streets because of some crazy shit that happened whenever they were overseas and their families did some fucked up shit or whatever it might be. I don't know.
No, I mean, we should always take care of those people. But it makes me wonder, maybe I need to start interviewing some homeless people, like, and see what the percentage is of people who actually want to go homeless as opposed to people who truly lost everything and had no other option but to go homeless.
I'm guessing that a lot of times homeless people have some sort of mental disorder or some sort of illness, or maybe it's make-believe in their head, but something that's preventing them from basically talking to people in society or being around people. They would just much rather just be on their own and just walk around and chill. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I
have no idea.
We have quite a few homeless people in our city where we live in, and I mean, I guess they stay behind the Dollar General.
But what percentage of homeless people do you think are actually like? What percentage of homeless people that you see on the streets do you think are just literally just doing it to make money?
Well, quite a few, but the cops I've talked to, they literally set up tents behind the Dollar General and they just all kick back there, probably do a little meth, little.
Well, think about this. Say you sit outside on 58 highway for 10 hours during the day. Odds are you're gonna make over $100.
You think so?
I would think so. $5 every. Dude, think about how many cars drive by every 30 minutes.
Well, it's right around 30. I think it's anywhere between 30 and 50,000 cars a day go on 58.
And every time I always see somebody give somebody money. I don't, but I always see somebody.
Yeah, I mean, even if people are grabbing a handful of change, odds are it's more than $1.
Yeah, $5, $10 here. I mean, you got 5 people give you $10. That's $50. That's more than some people make per day.
Yeah,
working a regular job, working at McDonald's or wherever it is.
I mean, obviously people are in it for the money, but they're the people who are true homeless people. Like, you'll find them in, like, just there's a city somewhere in Arizona or Utah. It's in the desert, and I forget what city it's called, but it's just homeless people, and they just chill in the desert and just fucking party, kick it. They build shit out of just like trash and stuff, and
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It might be enlightening for some people to do that, just to basically just live off the land, not have bills or anything. No, actually, they probably all have bills and stuff. They just decided not to pay, but what's the government going to do?
Yeah.
I guess put you in prison. That's just going to cost them more money.
Right.
I don't know.
I think, yeah, like you just said, you're free, you know. It's just weird, like, having the opportunity not to give my daughter a social security number. Like, that's the thing. It's like we signed her up for that, you know, and she didn't even get to make that decision, which most people would probably make that decision to do it when they get older. But
well, yeah, you heard that people are like petitioning to not identify a child's sex at birth and let them choose as life progresses. So like if it is a boy or a girl, they're not going to put that on the birth certificate until the child grows up and decides what they actually are, what they identify with.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't. It makes zero sense. It's bullshit.
Well, there was this incident, I guess, a couple weeks ago in a restaurant, and it was clearly a dude, and he was trying to use the women's restroom, and because he identified as a woman, they wouldn't let him. But then, the next day it was all over the internet, and then they apologized to him. And they said, sorry, next time, we'll train our employees to make sure that you're able to use the right restroom next time.
Yeah. I don't get the whole restroom argument. It's like you have a penis, you go to the left. If you have a vagina, you go to the right.
Exactly.
That's it. Like that's it. That's simple as that.
It doesn't make you feel uncomfortable whether if you're a dude and you describe you're a female is what you say. Like if you're a dude, just go piss in the dude's restroom. Are you really? I mean,
just go in the stall. If you're worried about it, just go in the stall.
But they're dressed like a chick though. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know.
We were at the casino the other day, and she walked out of the bathroom, and she said there was like 7 like trainees just in the bathroom. Like you could just tell they were dudes, like hardcore, like just their bone structure and everything. She said it was pretty funny.
I mean, it's funny, but I'm sure there's situations in America where it can turn into something scary.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is what happens. Some like badass dude kid is in the bathroom. They're like, oh my god, there's a mom usually in the women's bathroom, and a guy walks in, and they make a fucking huge deal about it when it's really not a big deal. Granted, I'm sure if a child molester wanted to like find kids, they could go into the bathroom anyways. It's like doesn't matter. Nobody's guarding the bathrooms.
No.
So it's not that.
Well, yeah, a kid got murdered in a McDonald's bathroom before, so
it doesn't matter what kind of regulations we have on who can go to the bathroom. It's going to happen no matter what. And that's what people are worried about. They're like, oh, I don't want a dude going into the girl's bathroom and finding my kid or something. It's like, well, go into the bathroom with your kid then. Don't let your kid go into the bathroom.
You can do that to an extent. Well, I mean, I guess now, like, whenever my daughter gets older and she's like, 14 years old and she's starting to develop, into a woman, like, I guess I could change my gender at that point when I'm at the restaurant and use the restroom with her to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, sure. And what are they going to do? It's like, it's not like they're going to, like, check you or anything. It's like, no, this is how I look. This is, I'm a female.
Yeah. I'm a bald female.
Yeah.
Using the restroom.
Yeah, there's a bald trainee in American Horror Story Hotel.
Yeah. It's crazy times we live in, man. I mean, it all goes down in the United States. I'm wondering if China even has to deal with stuff like this. I doubt it. They're not very free world like we are.
China's starting to have some major issues.
I heard they're doing public executions now.
Oh fuck, what was this? They're doing a merit system. They're not doing it, but they've suggested doing a merit system. So based off of, I don't know what their categories are, but like if you have a certain amount of stars or something, like you get certain privileges, and if not, like you can go to jail for it or stuff. Like it's scary. It's really scary. They have too many people, dude. The limit on kids is gone now. You can have how many kids you want. There's probably like 65 kids that just got born right now. Probably more.
Oh, easy.
Like 2,500.
I mean, eventually, like, money wouldn't work for a population that big. I mean, they have really bad poverty in China. Really, really bad poverty.
No, what's going to happen, and this is the scariest thing that can possibly happen in the world besides nuclear warfare, is if there's some sort of disease that gets started in China and just spreads like fucking wildfire, or if that disease gets over here. If it gets over here, I think we could isolate it pretty easily. And people say that we can't, but I'm pretty sure that we could pretty easily isolate it.
What's the movie with
Contagion or something?
Yeah, Contagion. It makes sense because there's so many people at an airport that it could touch a lot of different people. But
that's just like the Ebola thing. Like, so I guess they brought some guy with Ebola to the Atlanta hospital. It's like the best hospital, I think, for preventing disease.
And you didn't hear shit. There was like 10 cases of Ebola, maybe 30, and it was just everything was chill.
Well, yeah, and you've seen lots of cases of like measles and stuff coming back and things like that. It's just like, I don't know. I'm sure there's already a cure for cancer, but we don't the government doesn't want there to be a cure for cancer because it kind of helps with population control.
Yeah, population control and then invested interest in big business and corporations. But
Well, I think definitely you should put a limit on kids.
you think so?
Yeah, I mean if you're
But like, who
worried-
decides that? You know, like.
I know. It's like it's a free will thing. It's a
But I mean, Trey, you traveled around the world, man. And not around the world, but you traveled around the United States. We've been to Aruba. Like, whenever you fly over the United States, there's no way, like, it would take hundreds of years to overpopulate the United States.
I know, and the thing with like deforestation and stuff, it's like, dude, everywhere I go, I see just trees for as far as I can see.
Missouri is hella trees.
As far as I can see, even yeah, when we were flying and stuff, except for Aruba was pretty shitty, like on the sides, like it looked like it was kind of hanging on by a thread there.
Yeah.
There's like there's nothing. It's
Just little palm trees, that's it.
yeah.
No, there was some trees, but
Not
like
a lot.
in the middle, though, on that little small baby
Well,
mountain.
what really pissed me off when we got there was that just like that oil area. It was like
Yeah.
this big factory. I was like, I did not expect. I thought it would be more tropical looking on this, on the
Yeah.
outskirts of the island.
But I mean, like, when you've flown to Cali, right? Well, you've flown to Vegas many
No,
times.
I've flown to Hawaii.
but you've flown.
Yeah, I've basically been.
It's
to
all
California.
desert, man. It looks like Mars.
And there's some cool. When you look down, you can see you see all these like crazy like. It looks like crop circle type weird things.
Yeah, irrigation
I don't know
shit.
yeah, it's all irrigation stuff. It's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, but when you get like into Utah and shit, man, it's just like, I promise you, it legitimately looks like Mars. It's like just nothing, just dry as shit.
And especially with wildfires and stuff now, like they are, like California. I mean, if they don't get that shit under control, they're bye.
Yeah, the whole state will be gone, man.
Well, they want to defect from the United States anyways. So
Who, Cali does? Yeah,
Yeah.
they talked about it.
or
and-
splitting California into 3 states or something.
I mean, that'd be fine, but like to just go away from the United States, I mean, whatever.
If that happens, there'll never be another Democratic president ever.
That's true. That's
if
very
California goes bye, never, because that's where they get the majority of their electoral. I think it's how many electoral votes is it? in
Shit
California?
ton.
It's like more than 20, which is it's just nuts.
true. It is a little bit nuts.
You've been to California.
I have like twice.
I'm sure it's changed. How long has it been? Like 5-10 years since you've gone?
Oh, like 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
I'm sure just after 3 years, it's changed. All that pride stuff that they have going on all the time.
Yeah.
Like San Francisco is a place I do not want to go.
I couldn't go there either.
It's not. I'm not against homosexuality. It's just I don't get why it needs to be like celebrated like in everybody's face. It's like we
Well,
don't celebrate. I just don't.
Yeah, you don't celebrate like straight people, and I mean, I guess you'd have to be that way to understand it, you know?
Yeah,
Just
and I don't understand it, and that's the thing.
well, I mean, and they just in their defense, they probably don't understand why 400,000 people celebrated the Royals winning the World Series. You know,
Right,
they
right,
don't give
right.
two shits, but
Yeah, but at the same time, I have no problem with that at all. It's like you do your thing, I'll do my thing. But there are really mean, like asshole people in the world that probably do make them like fear for their lives.
oh, for sure.
And I don't know what that feels like because I'm a 6'2" white male.
Right.
Like I'm not really getting like fucked with
No.
very often.
I don't
And
know.
I have a beard.
You have a beard?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like a small beard.
Yeah. Little Mexican mustache.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the United States is crazy. I mean, we don't really see a lot of it here in the Midwest. The Midwest is just so chill. It's just very calm and probably really, really Republican, and it's just
Yeah, but
hard workers.
here's the thing about that. Like, people don't know what the fuck they are. If they're Republican or
Not
Democrat. They're
left or right, or
they don't know
or
shit.
They're
I'm-
way left, or they're slightly left but a little right. Like,
I'm neither. I'm none. I'm probably in the middle. Like
and it's not even a middle. I'm just a human
Yeah.
being who thinks differently than other people.
I literally made my choice off of one thing. I did not like the crazy ass chick that was running for president. Like I just didn't
Right.
like her.
Well, and they would find a way to put you on that piece of pie where, or not a piece of pie, but like a there's 100 this way, 100 that way, and there's 100 right, 100 left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'd find a way to put you in there somewhere when
Yeah.
I don't believe in that scaling at all.
Yeah. When I try to view things, I try to, like, would I be friends with this person in real life? Could I actually have a conversation and not, like, want to kill this person? Hillary Clinton, no. Like, I don't think there's anything that we'd have in common that I would want to talk to her about.
Not a chance.
Donald Trump, like, he probably has some pretty funny stories that I'll be interested to hear. He likes golf. He likes sports. He likes gambling.
He likes women.
Yeah, I like all those things.
Yeah, dude, we could have a great conversation.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I was just watching this. I don't know how true it was. I need to look into it, but that they're finally trying to prosecute Hillary Clinton to the fullest. That she had someone in her campaign infiltrate the Trump campaign to try and sabotage it. And they're finally trying to arrest her for it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's all bullshit.
She's got too much money to get arrested. You know what I mean? She's got way too much money it doesn't matter at this point. It's like, I still don't understand how you can have the Clinton Foundation that has just millions of dollars funneling through it, and there's just no questions asked about that.
Yeah, and then whenever
it's like, oh no, it's completely chill. They didn't get any of this money from overseas, from Iraq, or from any of these crazy ass fucking terrorist places.
Saudi Arabia, man, and that's the thing. It's just like whenever the campaign was going down or the presidential election, and literally, like, I'll admit I fed into the Facebook shit. At first I was a big Bernie supporter, and
yeah,
Jesse and I talked about this last week, but that was one thing you couldn't say. Like, if you got on Facebook and you said the Hillary Foundation, and people would just not acknowledge it.
I know. That's what I don't get.
They're just like, no. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
It just pissed me off. It's because Donald Trump is Donald Trump, and he doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. If he does something bad, all these keyboard hiding pussies will just rage and like, oh, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that. But when Hillary Clinton does the same thing, or anybody else, it's like, oh no. It's just because Donald Trump is derogative sometimes and real
as shit,
doesn't care what people think. Apparently that's not presidential behavior, because he doesn't kiss everybody's ass. And that's bullshit.
If anything, it teaches you, like, as a person, like, hey, don't give a shit what anyone thinks about you. Just do you. Like, there are times when I post shit on Facebook and I'm like, fuck, I'll delete it because I'm just like, I'm scared of what people will think. Like, Donald Trump don't care. He tweets so much. Like, he literally doesn't give two shits.
He doesn't. What's going to happen if he did get impeached for nothing, which he hasn't done anything? What would happen? But, okay, deuces. I'll just go live in my badass fucking hotel in wherever. Yeah. I'll build another hotel wherever you guys want. I'll build a hotel right next to the fucking White House, and you can look at it every day.
And that's what he talked about doing too.
That would be funny.
That's what they said. If he said if he would have lost, he would have built a hotel right next to the White House.
Yeah, why not? People would stay there too.
Oh yeah,
that's a place I really don't want to go either. Is DC.
So you don't think that Donald Trump deserves the cred that he gets? Not the like the bad cred or like the bad juju.
No, because I don't think that he has as much bad cred as it's portrayed by the media, because the media is 80% slanted left. So everything you hear is mostly against Donald Trump. Guys that support Donald Trump aren't on Twitter or Facebook or,
the massive news. Crowds that you see that go to his speeches, man.
They're not on the internet all day every day like these, leftist people, I guess. I don't know.
No, CNN's the worst, man.
It's all news. There's no good news. It's all bullshit.
Well, they're the ones who portray him in his bad credit. They don't. And like you made a good point earlier, it's just like people don't know him. And will we ever know Trump? Will we ever meet him? No.
We don't know anybody unless we are firsthand friends with them and talk to them. We don't know celebrities. We don't know anything. It's all. This goes back to the thing I saw on Facebook. Who knows if it's true? But it was the Washington Post, two exact same newspaper. One was in like Kansas or something. One was New York. Same picture, different headline, different text. They did this isolate groups of people how they want to spread whatever word they want to spread.
That's scary, man.
No, it is scary because, like these shootings in Vegas, Do you know anybody that lives in Vegas?
No.
Do you know anybody that lives in Utah, California?
No, no one.
No, we don't know any of these people. So they could literally tell the entire other half of the country that something happened. Make video. It's not hard to make videos anymore. Special effects is super easy for most people.
Yeah, they can air different segments of TV to different zones or whatever.
And they love it. They love the conspiracy too. They eat it up. Oh, there was multiple shooters. There was blah blah blah. Oh, this reminds me. I'm gonna get off track. The last shooting that happened in, where was it?
Was
it school shooting?
Texas?
No.
Parkland?
In Florida, I think. Right?
Yeah. Well, there was one after that, Texas.
That kid that's in like 17 videos, like he was in California, he was in Florida, and nobody questions that. No, he's just a normal high school student that's just in all of these different.
Yeah, that was sketchy for sure.
No, how is that not sketchy?
His dad was an FBI agent, and
yeah, supposedly, and
yeah,
he was like on the California beach, like fighting against pollution or something, and I don't buy it.
It's just. Yeah, I would have to look really hard into it because some of those videos are like people just have a lot of time on their hands and they can do disinformation as well. But I mean, he definitely was in California, and there were people who said that he graduated already and he was already in a yearbook, but I never saw the picture, of him in a yearbook in California. But
and also they're like, they're giving interviews to like fake students and stuff just to basically show whatever viewpoint they wanted to show.
Well, there was this blonde chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, there's two shooters or something.
She's like, yeah, I walked up right next to him. And she's like, yeah, like, people said it was you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked at him, and he just gave me a weird look. And I saw that he had a gun and stuff, and I just...
She didn't even say that he had a gun. She said that she had heard shootings, and he walked right by her after she had heard the shootings.
Yeah.
Or as the shootings were happening, and he was just walking by her. I don't know. It's all crazy, man.
I don't know. That's a tough subject to debate because it's like it sucks because that happened.
Yeah.
But then it also sucks because there potentially could be something deeper to it that occurred. You know what I mean? And that just sucks in general. It's just a sucky situation.
Well, and I think the biggest thing about Americans is like when something like that happens, we tend to, when we're very emotional and something happens like that, when we're in the moment, we make rash decisions,
Sure.
Like looking back on that now that you brought it up, I actually thought about it a few days ago, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, it just feels like we kind of moved on from it. It's been a couple months now, and it's just like it's not in anyone's heads anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it happened and it's done.
Well, like after the Vegas shooting happened, I did lots of research on it, and I was on Twitter like just refreshing hashtags because those videos go away super fast.
Oh, for sure.
So you can find like a video that gets taken down quick and see it, and it's like it's eerie, dude. It just makes your like skin crawl.
Well, I mean, internet's being controlled now, man. It's not free. That's what makes being alive so great, is having information at the tip of your hand, but now it's being controlled as well.
Yeah, that concert, like, say you're drunk at a concert and you hear sound, I would be oblivious to it. You know what I mean? At first, but I think I do look at my surroundings a little bit better than other people, and if I did hear that sound, I would probably be like, that's interesting. I would run the opposite direction as everybody else, first of all, in any situation. I would jump onto the stage and run backstage with the people. But everybody was like, they didn't know what was happening. It was crazy. And then that situation, they're like, there's multiple shooters. There's always multiple shooters, supposedly. It's like just like adds more to the flame.
Well, then the thing about the Vegas one, man, there's so many different videos and just different angles. The chick who came out and talked about on Facebook, like her experience, and then she died 2 days later.
Yeah.
Like that, they're just, why does shit like that happen?
I don't know. I don't like it. It's kind of scary.
It is. But, I mean, like, that one, I think that had the most camera footage you could find on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. It did. I mean, it had a ton, and that can't be, none of that, I don't think that could be fake. I mean, I guess it could, but it doesn't seem like it could be fake, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they have video. I mean, it took them a while, weeks, to finally show the video of the gunman bringing the guns in separate bags many different times.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, it's possible that there was some other help. Did you see the footage of where it looked like it was coming from a helicopter?
Yeah. Well, it looked like it was coming from like 10 different spots,
Yeah.
which is nuts. The thing that's crazy is with security, like, it's possible for hotels in Vegas to have security that literally just scans the entire hotel and can literally be like, okay, there's guns in that room. But we can't do that because that's against somebody's personal free will, and
So you'd be okay with it?
yeah, who cares? What am I going to be doing in my room that
Yeah, when it comes to safety, I think that there should be.
who cares?
Yeah.
What I mean, unless I'm like, if I am doing something bad, then I guess they'll see it.
Yeah, and odds are, I mean, most of the people don't do bad stuff, but there are those few, and if you could prevent those few from doing bad, then why not? You're right.
The scariest thing in the United States is that the fact that people are under the assumption that the government doesn't know and everything and anything that they want to know about somebody. Like,
We're past that point.
you're not hiding anything. They know what they want to know. They can know what they want to know whenever they want to know.
Well, that's the thing. It's just like whenever these school shootings happen or a terrorist attack happens, like they've already had prior knowledge of potentially this thing happening. They just didn't arrest that person or put him in jail.
But
so you're right. They know.
That's Trump's fault, though.
Yes, it is. You're exactly right. It's completely Trump's fault, 100%. No way around it.
Yeah. No prior president ever banned people jumping the border, and just nobody ever did it before Trump. Trump's the first one that's ever done anything like this before.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite is whenever you have, like, actual Hispanics go on live television and say, like, we need this wall, we need better security. Like, I had to legitimately get my citizenship here. I worked for it. I didn't just come over here and expect it. Like, that's the end of the conversation right there.
And me and you both know a lot of, like, hard-working, like, Mexican people that have came over here and just want what's best for their families. Granted, some of them probably are not legal, but it's kind of a tough thing. But at the same time, it's like it's really not that hard to funnel people in and just make them do it legal. Like, it's not going to get done in one day. You can come over here and go through the process and live here. You just have to commit to doing it.
Yeah,
and hey, maybe a lot of them don't understand that at the same time too.
It's a possibility, and I don't know how hard it is. And see, that's one thing I've never done, and I probably will do soon, is look up the process of how long it takes and what it requires to become a citizen.
It takes a long time, and the argument for them is, oh, no, none of you guys that were just born here could ever pass this fucking test, or any of this citizenship testing or whatever.
If I remember right, this was like back in 2007. Whenever I knew this, is when I first started working at the Mexican Jose's, and I'd asked a gentleman who had said he had a citizenship, but now I don't think he does. Well, he said he said the test was hard. You know why it was hard? Because he didn't speak fucking English. He didn't know English, and I think it's required that they do the test in English. So that's where it fucked him up, and he said it's just like the Constitution test. I mean, that was 2007, and he could be wrong, but
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, what's really scary is the fact that the U.S. is such a chill place and such a favorable place to live that we're getting blamed for having any sort of national pride or any sort of like, oh, we like to speak English. If you come here, you should speak English. We shouldn't have to learn Spanish or Chinese or whatever it is. But then
it's the melting pot, bro.
But then they'll throw it in your face and it's like, oh, the whole world, like, you need to learn Spanish. Like, that's what the world's coming to. You need to learn Spanish. You need to learn this. You need to, like, no. I was like, I plan on living here my entire life. I don't think I need to learn any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it is people. That's the biggest thing. It's just like, we stole this land from the Indians. Like, we're immigrants too. Dude, that happened hundreds of years ago.
Yeah,
we're past that point. That we're never going back to that point.
True. This
is us. This is ours. This is we're the here and now.
Yeah, it's back. Well, then you should learn fucking hieroglyphics then.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll be back to that, man. Hieroglyphics. That's another trippy thing, man. It's like, what happens if, like, the pyramids and shit, like, that's the future, and that's what happened as we advance as a society, and then, like, I don't know. It's kind of trippy to think about, but, like, that happened in the future, but we see it now.
Yeah, I would definitely like to dive into some more, like, ancient, like, pyramid stuff, because, like, that fascinates me, like, the whole mummy thing and all that stuff. Like, they did some crazy shit, like human sacrificing and Like they actually thought that they could bring people back from the dead and stuff.
And what happens if they did?
Whew. Zombies, man.
Yeah.
I truly think that not zombies like we see in The Walking Dead, but zombies, some sort of just like you lose all brain function, but you can still have your motor functions. Like that could happen. Like there could be some sort of drug that makes that happen. And it would be some sort
when
of
you black out, that's what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's definitely it can happen.
I don't know. I watched this movie the other day, The Strangers. Is like you remember the old one, The Strangers, where the guy and the girl are at this house and these people are like outside like terrorizing them. Like a guy in a mask in a truck.
Yeah.
There's a second one and I watched it. And there's three bad guys and just I think a whole family. And if I was in that situation, like I would fuck those people up like easily.
What did they have in their house where they could fuck them up?
They had a gun.
Just one gun?
They had multiple guns, I think, at some point. And they're too scared. The person had a knife, like, looking at them, and they wouldn't shoot him.
I would open the window and be like, hey, you have, like, 30 seconds to get the fuck off my property or I will shoot.
Like, I think if, like, say me and you were in that situation and somebody was, like, fucking with us, like, right now outside, it's like, what, we just go and, like, just chill in the corners and wait for them to come in here. If they come in here and charge us, like, we start throwing shit at them and just take them down. Like, I don't get why you would, like, go and move around and, like, we just stay somewhere.
Well, I mean, so what you're saying is you would react way quicker than the average person.
Yes.
I mean, but until it actually happens to you, it's hard to say that what you would do in that moment.
I know. But if somebody's charging at me with a knife and I have a weapon and I don't use that weapon, then at that point,
well, yeah, what's the point in living? Like,
you're just like,
why the fuck did you buy the gun in the first place?
I don't know. I just, like, if I was outside and there was two people, I would be gone. Like, I would be gone. Gonzo. Like, you would not catch me.
Yeah. But I mean, like, movies are one thing.
I know, but I just want a movie to come out where, like, the actual good character just does
fuck shit up.
Yeah, just fucks the people up. Like, takes them out, does what, like, we would think that they should do.
So
that would be a good movie.
An example, like, last week, Jesse came over to do the podcast. Well, Jordan came with him. I didn't know it. So Jordan just shows up with him. And literally, bro, like, like Jesse, you can hear his car. You know it's loud.
Yes. And
I don't hear anything. And I'm, like, in the kitchen. I'm, like, about to go outside, smoke a cig before they come over. Well, like, Rue, our cat, like, she starts acting real weird. You know, like, and whenever Rue acts weird, it's normally because she sees an animal outside. Like, her tail will puff up, and she'll like, brr, 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 like, make this weird noise. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck, like, something's outside. So I go in the kitchen, I look out the window, and I'm like, well, it's too dark, I can't see shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, something's out there. And then Coupland starts doing the same shit. I fucking turn around, look through my kitchen window, because my door has a window.
Yeah.
And there's fucking Jesse standing right there. I had no idea it was in my fucking house, bro. I freaked out.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I'm just like, before I saw his face, I just saw a person.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, what do I do?
Yeah.
But instantly I realized it was Jesse. But it's just like, if it wasn't him, like, my gun was literally 2 feet away from Jesse. So I was like, because it's in the garage. Yeah. So he had quicker access to my gun than I did. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I would have done that I just froze.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's easier to say what you would do in that situation as opposed to what you would actually do. But
killing someone would be tough, man.
Well, that's the thing. If I had a gun, I would not just point blank shoot someone unless they were hurting, like a family member or somebody, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I would just 2 shots to both knees and 2 shots to both elbows. Like, you can't do anything. You're just there.
Yeah.
You'll heal.
Right. Well, that's like, do you ever just lay in bed and just, like, you think about that, like, fuck, why if someone broke into my house?
Oh yeah, I would just have to go ape shit crazy. I'd have to, like, go nuts.
Like, you would just instantly go nuts, or you'd be, like, super quiet, suave, like I'm gonna fucking, I know my house better than this little motherfucker.
Well, yeah, that too. But if there's 2 or 3 people, it's like,
You're
what do
fucked.
you do? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have weapons or anything so.
Doesn't that make you kind of want one? I mean,
It does.
Isn't the world that crazy to where we all need fucking weapons?
But like right now, Blake lives at my house too. So if something's happening, Blake's gonna come out with his baseball bat, and I'm guessing unless somebody has a gun, you know what I mean? Which they probably would, I guess.
So what's that law if like you shoot someone in your house, like you could go to jail for it?
No, not somebody. If
someone,
I've heard stories of people going to jail for that, but it's bullshit.
That is bullshit.
I wouldn't be going to jail for it.
No, someone's in my house and they're not supposed to be, and they accidentally
Threatening my life.
Yeah.
No. Bye.
Yeah.
It's your property.
See, that's what it's like. Do you want a shotgun or do you want a fucking handgun? You know, because I feel like if you have a shotgun and it's close quarters in your house, that's probably the best bet.
Yeah, because you have less. Your accuracy doesn't have to be as good, but like, if you went like John Wick on some people, you had a handgun. Like, you only need 8 bullets. I think I could be pretty accurate with a handgun if with
in the dark though at nighttime.
Oh yeah.
No way,
dude. I'm pretty. I feel like I get pretty like zoned in when I need to be, like when my adrenaline's going.
That's true. That's very true.
You know
You don't
I mean?
account for adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like your eyesight probably gets better.
Yeah.
Everything. Like your senses get better. You might probably be able to see in the dark better whenever your adrenaline's
Dude,
going.
you know, when you're outside for, I don't know, a few hours, and like you can just see everything.
Yeah.
But when you go out there at first, like, oh wow, it's super dark. I don't know.
Yeah, I think adrenaline helps a little bit of everything. Hopefully neither of us ever have to deal with something like that.
Oh no, it's just hypothetically. I mean, think of any movie. There's so many movies based off of that plot. Somebody breaking into your house and then whatever the storyline is.
Well, and mainly it's just in real life, it's people trying to rob you.
Yeah.
And if it's not someone trying to rob you, it's someone that you know that's breaking into your house, and they're most likely really, truly trying to kill you if they're not trying to rob you.
Yeah, exactly. Sketchy.
It is sketchy, man.
I don't like it.
I don't either. So you were telling me this story about the UFC, the turning into the WWE. I need to watch this video.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the last couple weeks, actually, since Conor McGregor has become like a UFC, actually Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, since they've become like big in the UFC, I've just been bashing the fuck out of the UFC any chance I get. So this, I think Saturday, supposedly it was the best UFC event ever. Daniel Cormier versus something Stipik or something was his name. This Daniel Cormier guy is like 6 foot tall, like 235 pounds or something. Not really that fun to watch because he's such a big dude. It's kind of just like, kind of boring. But people are like, oh, this is the super event of the year. And I'm like, UFC is so fucking shitty now. Like, there's no respectable stars compared to how it used to be. Like Chuck Liddell, all those badass guys whenever it first came out.
Anderson Silva.
Yeah, Anderson. Like, all those badass guys. And somebody will tweet about it and I'll just bash them. I'll just back UFC blows. They're trying to copy off the WWE. Sure enough, Saturday, this guy wins the event, Daniel Cormier, or however you say it, Cormier or whatever. Joe Rogan's talking to him in the ring, and he calls out Brock Lesnar, and of course Brock Lesnar's there.
So that even makes you wonder if the fight was rigged for him to win.
Exactly. And of course Brock Lesnar's front row in the ring, calls out Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar opens up the gate, comes in, and just runs up there and just shoves him. Sorry. And it looked so fake. It looked faker than the WWE, which Brock Lesnar is the world title champion in the WWE currently.
Who fights once a year.
Yeah. It seems...
That's a bad look.
And, like, I think that... I don't know if you saw this, but Conor McGregor, like, went on a rampage and, like, threw a chair at this bus.
Yeah.
That seems so fake to me, too.
No, it probably was, because they were saying he should get arrested for it.
Yeah.
And you know he's not going to.
And nothing was ever said about it afterwards. And then, so I think they're just trying to make it more dramatic, like the WWE.
For sure.
Now, because Vince McMahon is killing it right now.
Yes, I don't know why people get off on WWE.
He's killing it. I mean,
Have you sat down and watched it, though?
Yeah.
Like, recently? I can't do it.
I used to love it.
Same. 5th grade, though.
Yeah, like, it used to be, like, when Triple H and Shawn Michaels just became D-Generation X.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was awesome.
And we were also,
And
teenagers.
In The Rock,
Fuck yeah.
But now, and I just don't really. Doesn't seem like there's very.
It's not
good
real.
stars. John Cena.
John Cena's cool, but I don't really care to see him fake wrestle.
Oh, I know. He seems like a good guy in real life. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's interesting. I think the UFC is headed down it's been headed down a shitty path for a long time. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, Chuck Liddell. When we watched fucking UFC, when Chuck Liddell was in there, it was just him fucking people up. That was it. There was no other questions or anything else. It was just Chuck Liddell fucking people up.
It was actually like knocking people out like with punches, not like ground and pound shit.
Right.
And it was just badass. And that's when I think everybody got on that UFC high for like a couple years, and then it just slowly drifted off. Too much. The girls started fighting Ronda Rousey, blah blah blah. All that stuff started happening, and it was like, this is just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
For a while there weren't any good fights. It was more like wrestling. It was like knockouts, no nothing.
Yeah, it's just a few punches, then straight to the ground, like you said.
And then they just like run away, like, you know.
It's true. I mean, I'm sure there are some good fights still, some bloody matches and shit like that. But Ronda Rousey, she's in the WWE now too.
Yeah, I lost interest.
They're in cahoots, is what's probably happening.
Well, yeah, they should. I mean, Dana White is a smart guy, I think.
Well, to me, it sounds like Vince McMahon's about to buy the UFC. Is what it sounds like.
Vince McMahon is creating. He's bringing the XFL back.
Yeah, that's true. When does that start?
I think 2019, after the NFL season. It starts a month after the Super Bowl.
I'm ready for it, man.
Tell me. It'll be cool though, because it's like you'll have football year round.
Let's do it. Sign me up.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I mean, even if it's not that good, I'm sure it'll be fun.
When he did it the first time, it wasn't bad.
And Andrew Luck's dad is the commissioner.
Really?
Yeah.
See, they're smart motherfuckers.
Yeah. I don't know. It should be. There's another football league that's starting up too. I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's just like the basketball shit. Like, what's it called? The half court shit.
Oh, Big Three.
Yeah, it draws big crowds.
Yeah, Ice Cube, man. Ice Cube's, he's like, hey, let's get some old retired guys that everybody likes, and
you're just playing 21, right? Basically.
Yeah. So you have to take the ball back past the 3-point line after a miss or something.
Yeah. I mean, sports has to evolve as well. And eventually there's going to be another sport that just fucking takes over.
Yeah, you would think. Well, it's crazy. How long has the United States been domesticated? Like
120
years. A little over 100 years.
Right.
Like, and we've been alive for 25, 30 years of that 120-year span. It's like the United States has not really been the United States for that long when you look at historic,
right,
hierarchies and stuff. I mean, I don't know what the longest reign was, like in England, like for like a king, like King Henry or something. I'm guessing nowhere close to 100 years.
One of the kings. Well, no. I mean, because they didn't even live that long, but what do you mean?
Like a family.
Right. Well, there's still King Henry, right?
No, yeah.
Well, there was like King Henry, like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, right?
Yeah, it kept going, and then all that shit got fucked up because of the church, Catholic Church and stuff. Like, shit got crazy. I don't know. That's something I would like to look up, like what the longest, like,
reign?
Not reign, but like time of, not peace, because we've had wars during that 100 years, but
humans will always have war.
I mean, there's war going on right now. There could be a war that we don't even know about.
Yeah. If you had to ask me who had the biggest reign or the longest reign, it's probably here in the United States, because it started in Britain or whatever, or England, wherever, and then whenever we tried to secede from them, and we came over here to the United States and started building shit, like, it's been the same people, the Rothschilds, the fucking J.P. Morgans, the fucking, those motherfuckers, man, they've been doing it.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't know what like the next big like shift in society is gonna be. I have no idea. And
this is once again another Joe Rogan podcast with this dude from Canada, and they were just talking about some deep shit, and I think there's only two options. One, I mean, how technological advanced are we?
The most. Like,
how close are we to an actual virtual reality that, like, we put on this headset and we're actually in another world, but it looks exactly like this one, maybe better?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I don't want that, but
That's where we're heading, right?
I think.
There's no other option, man. There's not. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at. You got a pee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I literally forgot what we were talking about, though, man. We were talking about, I think, yeah, we left it off at who had the longest reign.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea about that. Might have to look into that.
Yeah, maybe the Aztecs, the fucking Mayans, dude. Who knows?
Yeah,
You think the Egyptians built the pyramids?
No, I have no idea. If they did, then I'm not well, yeah, I can see it.
You could see it?
Yeah.
I mean, they with what they had, though, man. They did, like, the precise cuts.
They had water and mud.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they took 50-ton blocks. They moved it 400 miles.
Yeah, dude, they had the Nile River.
That's true. But what are you going to put a 50-ton block on? What kind of boat?
I don't know. You'd have to watch that Prince of Egypt movie, the Disney one.
Yeah?
It's extremely historically accurate.
Really? I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I still want to see that. There's like some Egypt movie with Christian Bale that came out a while back that I never saw.
Really?
Yeah.
There was The Mummy, right?
Well, there's the Mummy. I like that.
That was Tom Cruise. I haven't seen that one yet.
It's all right. Yeah, I like it.
What's the one Christian Bale did?
It's something. I think it's the Prince of Egypt or something. Egypt, but it's him and Joel Edgerton, and I'm not sure who is who, but yeah, it's based off of that Disney movie, I think.
That's pretty dope, man. The Egyptians were fucking crazy.
Well, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's based on the Egyptian times. It's pretty cool.
It's not the newest one, right?
Yeah, it's the newest one.
A lot of them, and some of them, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but Assassin's Creed goes deep into that shit.
I know, and that's why I like it, because it has all that historic stuff. And I know it's not all true, but it's still kind of cool.
I think that
it's called Exodus: Gods and Kings.
Okay, yeah, I've seen Exodus. I've seen it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But there's no way that those fucking pyramids were tombs, man. There's no way that's what they were built for.
Right, just one tomb there's 3 pyramids, right?
Well, there's probably over 20 pyramids, but those are like the most, renowned and well-known pyramids.
Yeah, it's just that's crazy shit. Like, I don't know.
Well, in the boxes that they allegedly find, I mean, some of the boxes this is where they found the mummies, and some of them they don't find anything. But they're huge, bro. They're like literally like 20 to 30-ton blocks just for a sarcophagus.
Yeah, well, you see stuff, and they have like these little like levers and pulleys, and they release it, and these blocks slide down. Like, they had all these like basically ingenious tools and tricks that they use to do all this stuff. Supposedly, I don't know. It's crazy.
It is crazy, man. But they're running through blocks now, like the Egyptologists. The people who say what happens and say how it goes and who has access, and do they open this part of the pyramid? Do they keep it closed? Well, you have actual scientists who are trying to go and figure out, one, how old truly are the pyramids and the Sphinx and stuff like that. But the Egyptologists, they're just refusing to let any of that happen.
Right? Why?
Because they believe in their own beliefs, and they don't want any of that to change. They stay with mainstream. Like, when you are in high school and you read about the pyramid, that's what they want to keep it at. They don't want anything to change. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the biggest pyramid. Like, who was buried in the biggest pyramid?
Was it King? It wasn't King Tut.
Yeah. Or Cleopatra or something.
Right.
Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, they slaved over this building for probably years. I don't know how long they took to build. I'm assuming years.
Well, it's however many million blocks, and it would take 30 years to build the main, like the Great Pyramid. 30 years, 20,000 people working nonstop.
Yeah.
to complete it in 30 years.
And like, can you like? Did they have like secret like passages and stuff in these pyramids?
Yeah. And there's still secret passages that they're finding now.
Who's going into these things? Because I would never do that.
You wouldn't go inside one?
No.
Why not? It's like so if you there's this guy named Brian. He's on Brian Forrester. He's on YouTube and he does a shit ton of ancient pyramid stuff. But once a year he goes to Egypt and you can pay a couple grand. He'll take you on tours. You go inside the pyramids. You go inside the Sphinx. Check the shit out.
The Sphinx is small. It's like smaller than you would expect it to be.
Really?
Yeah.
You're allowed certain access to the Sphinx, but there are quite a few entries that are blocked off that you can't check out.
What's also crazy is I think there's some conspiracy where like underground, all of the pyramids are like connected, like with these underground passageways and stuff, and like
I believe it.
There's a complete underground like passage system.
Well, it's how their water worked, man. That's how, because the Nile River was right there, so that's how they believe they got their water, filtered their water. All that stuff was these underground passages. Because there's actually a video of whenever you can go into the pyramid or the Sphinx and you can watch it. You're going down deep, dude.
Yeah,
deep.
I watched this movie once and it had whoever the lead singer is from Pink. I don't know what her name is, but she was the main actress in this movie, and it was set in I believe Paris, and underneath Paris is like a complete like passage system or something. They'd have like raves down there and stuff, but like these guys were down there and they got like lost, and there's like, and it just looks super sketchy, and like people live down there and stuff.
Yeah.
And these it's just
the catacombs.
That's what the movie's called.
Yeah.
Catacombs.
I mean, it's the same way in Washington and New York, man. I mean, well, New York you have the subways and shit, but like in Washington D.C., they have underground shit there, man. For like the president, if shit goes down, they're going underground. Probably to some secret fucking plane that's a couple miles away, and then they deuce out.
Yeah. Like that one movie with Gerard Butler, A Law-Abiding Citizen.
Yeah,
that movie's badass.
That movie is badass. That is one of the dopest movies ever. That's when the good guy fucking tears shit up, except at the end.
Yeah, and Jamie Foxx somehow outsmarts him, which I don't believe would happen.
It would not happen. He would, yeah.
Like he wouldn't, yeah. I don't know, that just the fact that he bought that building beforehand and like tunneled over there to where he knew he was going to be, like that's just badass. But I don't know, I guess he was just out for revenge, but I would have just left, probably.
Yeah, as smart as he is, he could have just started a new life. I mean, he could have got revenge without going to jail and just killed all those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I guess he just didn't care. He's just like, if I die, I die. I'll be with my family again.
Yeah. And I wonder if they've released that movie in 4K, because if they have, I'd love to buy that movie in 4K.
I'm sure they have. Gerard Butler hasn't really been in any movies lately.
I'll be honest, man, my movie games went downhill.
Well, yeah, it's understandable.
I think the last movie I watched... I watched a movie. It was on Netflix. Oh, it was the Paradox. The
Cloverfield Paradox. Yeah. I haven't watched that one yet because I still haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane.
That's the one with John Goodman, right?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
You should watch it because it's on Netflix too. Or is it still on Netflix? It was.
It might be.
I like the Cloverfield Paradox. I mean, I like the series that they're going with because it's J.J. Abrams. He's the one who's doing it.
Yeah, I like when a director will make a movie and keep it under wraps and not like we don't just know everything about it already and then just change the title at the last minute. Because originally it was called something else and then he just changed the title and then just released it on Netflix. Randomly.
And the first Cloverfield, the very first one, you see the monsters in it, right?
No, you don't see them. You just see something fall out of the sky at the very end into the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, in this newest one, it was decent, but it wasn't like...
It was all in space, right?
Yeah, it was all in space. And it was just like the multiverse kind of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just way too much.
Did you ever see the A Quiet Place movie?
Uh-uh.
It's pretty interesting. These monsters just hear noises and stuff, and like if you're loud, like they come and attack you, basically.
Monsters or aliens?
I think they're supposed to be aliens. I don't know.
Okay. It's called The Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place. It has Jim from The Office. He's the main actor. He
Oh,
directed
nice.
it. He directed it.
Oh, really? That's funny. If Dwight Schrute was in it, I would definitely watch it.
Yeah, I think he's in a new movie coming out. That shark movie with Jason Statham. I think it's called The Megalodon.
Oh, is he really in that one?
Dwight Schrute is, yeah.
Yeah, but he's gonna be serious in it. And
No, he's like Dwight.
Really.
Yeah, he just like had a similar kind of attitude. I think. I don't know.
I feel like they just need to advertise that movie as it's Dwight on vacation, and this is what happens.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Yeah. Because if they came out with another season of The Office, that would be epic.
Well, if they come out with another season of The Office, they have to bring Michael Scott back. If they don't, then just don't even do it.
Well, I mean, the last season was without Michael Scott. It was
The last
fine.
3 seasons.
Yeah,
were.
and it was decent. It sucked, but if they brought back The Office and Dwight was in it, I'd be okay.
I'd still watch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. But I think if Michael Scott came back, it would be good.
It would be awesome.
Michael Scott he's just so. I just can't even explain him. He's just so. Just doesn't really understand how like social interaction is. I guess.
He has no filter, man.
I love it. It's awesome.
So
And he has good intentions too. He's just like that one where they're like doing race day and they all have to choose their own race, and he's like talking Indian to that Mindy Kaling is like, ding ya, ding ya.
I lost it when he did that, bro. I lost it.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
right?
that was one of the funniest. That's one of the only shows I'll literally just laugh my fucking ass off because it is so
It's
funny.
so real though. It's just like so like. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen that video of Donald Trump when they're at like dinner or something, and Kim Jong-un and his crew are sitting across from Donald Trump, and it looks like The Office filming, and Donald Trump looks at the camera, and he's like, "Are you taking good video, making us all look nice and thin and handsome?" and then it like pans over to Kim Jong-un, and he just sits there and stares at the camera, just like blank face, just staring at like. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I need to watch that. They actually had dinner.
Yeah, they had dinner. Like Donald Trump's crew was on one side of the table, and Kim Jong Un's crew was on the other side of the table.
How G is Donald Trump from making that happen?
It was just hilarious. And then he's just like fucking around, like make sure we look all handsome over here and nice and thin, and Kim Jong Un's just like just blank staring at the camera.
Kim Jong Un's I don't know, man. He's something else. When I saw him shake hands and all that shit, but it was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You never really heard anything after that. Like they met and then that's it. Like,
yeah.
You heard no details at all about any of it.
They kept it secret, man. I mean, you got to think Kim Jong Un. He's right next to China. He's not gonna fuck around with China. China would fuck North Korea up instantly if they took our side.
I know, and that's what I don't get, because I've heard that China would take North Korea's side for some reason, but I don't know why.
I mean, because they're just trading. They trade with, like, whenever we restricted trade with North Korea, China was still trading with them, giving them goods, because China does what the fuck they want.
Well, yeah, and Donald Trump's like, I'm over it. Like, why are we giving you like good deals and stuff when you're not giving us anything in return?
Yeah.
So he's like, sorry, China, no more soybean. They're the number one soybean importer of anybody, especially from the United States. So I don't know what that's going to do for agriculture.
Well, Asia's bigger than North America, right? I think so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, China's fine. They have massive amounts of land where they grow. And they're not even... I feel like their environment or their weather's similar to ours. Like, it's, hot summer.
I really don't know.
I don't either. Isn't that weird how just alien China is?
Yeah. I have no idea, and I don't really want to go there either.
Have you seen videos of fucking... what's their capital?
Beijing?
Beijing and then Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is...
Like, it's just fucking like...
Hong Kong is Japan.
Oh, yeah, not Hong Kong, but yeah, Beijing. But just the video of their skyline compared to New York, it makes New York look like a fucking child.
Really?
Yes. You've never seen their skyline, their city skyline?
I think I have. It's just...
It's nuts, dude.
I can't see it right now.
It's nuts.
What's kind of scary, though, is Russia's kind of like thriving right now.
How so?
Like, after the whatever. I think it was the Cold War. After all that, like China was just a shithole for like the longest, or not China. Russia was just a shithole for the longest time, and then now it's the, I think, what do they call it, the USSR or something, or it's something. It used to be the Soviet Union, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now they call it something different. It's like post-Soviet Union Russia or something. I don't know, but like they're actually, like their land is getting better and stuff, and they're like rebuilding a lot. Like you used to see all those videos of like just how desolate Russia was in some of these places, and now what's his name, Putin?
Yeah, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, he's
Well, he's been president for a while.
Yeah.
And
he's a dictator.
Yeah, he is. But have you watched any videos of him?
Sort of, yeah. I've seen a couple.
He's sly as a motherfucker, man. Like when he's talking to reporters, you watch videos of him out and about, just doing his thing. Like he is just sly. Like he just tells you how it is. But speaking of Russia, have you watched like any of the World Cup?
Yeah, I've watched highlights and stuff.
Have you seen the intro though?
No.
Like the intro, like whenever a game's about to start, you can tell that like Russia is the one who edited it because it's in Russia, so it's like Russia's ESPN or whatever, their sports network.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like 1990s-esque. Like they're way behind on their editing skills.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they're just now kind of like getting there. You know what I mean? Well, think about this. Think about like just the movie industry. Like you've got the United States and then China. China actually makes some pretty like high grossing movies now. Other than that, you don't have any other country.
It's independent after that
makes good movies. Like that, I think that's kind of how you know that a country is doing well and is like a world power. You know what I mean? Like if you have the ability to have the entertainment, you have people in your society that are viewed as like kings, basically kings and queens, higher above other people, to where they just get to make movies for fun and get paid money. Like I would assume that your country is doing fairly well.
For sure, technological
is what you would think. You know what I mean? But you got United States and China who do that. We're the two world powers.
Yeah, I'd say any country is probably really, really far behind coming close to making movies like we make movies.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched a Chinese film that was decent?
I know, because I don't want to. I do like watching a movie with subtitles sometimes.
Same.
Just because sometimes it's hard to hear some stuff. But
well, there was that one Chinese movie where like the dude was stuck in a room.
Old Boy.
Yeah, Old Boy, and like his daughter goes missing or something, and then like he just ends up being stuck in this room for like 20 years.
Yeah,
that was good.
They remade it with Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Was that a Chinese film?
It was, yeah. The first one was.
So the one that they remade in subtitles was an American-made movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's an English one that they just made like probably 5 years ago.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Josh Brolin, and then he ends up having sex with his daughter.
Yeah, that movie is fucked, dude. That's just a fucked up movie.
I know. Because she doesn't know, he doesn't know.
Yeah. That's just gruesome, man.
I liked it. It was good. I mean, it was different.
Yeah. We do make the best movies, though. You're right. I need to get on my movie game, man. I need to start going up, fucking buying some Blu-rays and start watching them and shit.
I've just been, like, I'll just go to Walmart and I'll just find the $5 movies, the Blu-rays, and just buy a couple.
Yeah.
Just watch them. I think I bought Inception the other day. What else did I buy? Smoking Aces. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That movie's badass.
That's got what's his name?
It has Ben Affleck, Chris Pine, Ryan Reynolds, Jeremy Piven, Joel Edgerton.
What's it about again? Is that Cards? No.
It's about...
I've seen it. I own the movie.
It's about this guy who's like in line to take over like a fortune from this mobster guy, and like they're trying to kill him, and Ryan Reynolds is like a cop and he's like on the case or something. There's a lot of weird stuff that's happening. And Chris Pine is like this hillbilly, like, I don't even know how he connects to the movie. Ben Affleck gets killed in like 3 minutes. I think there's a couple other crazy people. It's just, I don't even know. I really don't.
I've seen it. It's been a while. I want to get your take on Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh, I think he's the most comic accurate Batman.
Most comic accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. How so? Was it the director who made it seem that way?
No, he looks the most like
the
Batman.
big jaw.
He's got the chin. He's got the half smirk, like the cartoon half smirk. He is actually the right size of Batman. He's fucking big. He's not like Christian Bale, like me, 6'2", 215. He's like 6'3", like 235, bulked up. And he's more. The Christopher Nolan Batmans were great. They were awesome, especially the second one. But they were just very realistic takes on Batman, which I liked. It's cool, but I want to see more of like the actual comic villains, like Deathstroke and the Penguin and Killer Croc. And
is there another Batman coming out?
There's a Batman in development. It's called The Batman, and Matt Reeves, the guy who directed the last two Planet of the Apes, is the director.
So now it's just getting passed around, basically.
And it's pissing me off because they're saying that Ben Affleck wants to stay now, but Matt Reeves is like, no, he wants it to be a younger Batman now. It's just like, no, just give us a continuation of the story. We don't need to just keep restarting. We've already seen this. We know Batman's parents die at the very beginning, always. We don't need to see that anymore. Right. Everybody knows that.
Well, maybe he wants to put his own spin on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to see more, like, basically, not gruesome, but more villains like, what's his face? The Joker in the second one.
Bane.
No.
Penguin Man.
No, the Joker in the second one.
Yeah.
I want to see more, like, good performances like that with the villains. The villains make Batman. Batman has the best villains out of anybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you're right, though. It needs to be a continuation because once you made Batman and Batman vs. Superman, like, that just took it to a whole new level.
Well, yeah, no. And if we're just going to keep... Okay, so we had Justice League. It didn't do well at the box office like you thought it was, but you're still having an Aquaman movie coming out. You're still having another Wonder Woman coming out. So just continue. Like, don't keep...
It'll do fine, especially if Ben Affleck's in it and you get a good villain like you said.
Yeah, don't...
Redo Bane.
Yeah. I mean, you could do the Riddler. Like, you could do the Riddler with, like...
Or even the Penguin Man.
You could do all of them.
Yeah.
You could do multiple villains in one movie.
So you didn't like Christian Bale's Batman?
No, I did. It was too realistic.
Too realistic.
Yeah. Which is fine, but I like Ben Affleck.
I don't know, that Bane movie that was good.
Yeah, it was good.
That was really good. Granted, the CGI was kind of
But he wasn't Batman for like that entire movie. He was Batman for like 40% of the movie.
Well, because he was locked up and getting fucked up, and he had to climb that wall, and
yeah, he had to get his strength back. He broke his back, dude.
Yeah, and I like how that they showed like Batman overcoming something so huge, and that's how legit Batman is. He doesn't have to be Batman to climb that wall. It was just Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and people have a big misconception of Batman because they're like, oh, he's just rich. Like, he's like, no, he's more than just rich. Like, he was trained by Ra's al Ghul, who was like the most badass assassin ever of all time. Like, he knows, like, he's like a badass in combat.
When will they do a Ra's al Ghul movie?
Well, it's hard to beat Liam Neeson playing Ra's al Ghul.
That's true.
So I don't know how they could.
And that was the first one with Christian Bale.
Yeah. I think what they could do is, and this is what I want, is like an Arkham Asylum movie. So like Batman has to go actually to the asylum where all of the villains that he's put into prison or into the asylum are there. So they're like, the Joker, they're all there. And so I don't know why he would have to go there, but like, the Joker is probably orchestrating this whole thing. I think there should be a trilogy where the Joker is in all of them, and he's orchestrating everything that's happening. That's what I want to see. And I think it would be cool, Clayface, if he was in there. And he was actually pretending to be Joker as part of this plan for a little bit, and Batman finally thinks he kills Joker, but really it's just Clayface. And then, like, it just keeps, you know what I mean?
Batman doesn't even really kill anyone.
Yeah, that's not really true, but
he does.
He does. But in the early comics, he didn't. But then eventually he did.
So it kind of makes me mad that they left it off with Christian Bale whenever they were about to introduce Robin.
That's my biggest issue with Batman. It was like, why the fuck? Why can't we not have Robin?
Yeah.
Like, we need Rob. I want Nightwing, because Robin becomes Nightwing.
Right.
There's 3 Robins. There's Jason Todd, there's Dick Grayson, and there's I can't think of the other guy right now.
So within the comics, Batman has 3 different Robins.
Yeah. So Dick Grayson's the first one.
Okay.
He's
And why did he leave?
He's the one, like the original Batman's with Michael Keaton. That's Dick Grayson.
Okay.
He left because he thought Batman was not appreciating him enough.
In the comics.
In the comics, yeah.
Okay.
And Dick Grayson thought that Batman was not appreciating him enough, so he wanted to go off and do his own thing. So he becomes Nightwing, who's badass. And
But not as good as Batman.
No, not as good as Batman. But they still have a relationship. But
So is Dark Knight in Gotham doing his shit?
yeah, Dark Knight's in Gotham, and Nightwing or Dick Grayson goes to this other place that's close by.
Okay.
And kind of does his own thing. They still cross paths. I have actually all the animated Batman movies, like the badass ones where they cuss and stuff, that you could watch if you wanted to get a little bit more background information on this. And those are the good ones because like they're having like sex and stuff, and like it's like legit.
Oh, like Batman and Catwoman and shit?
Deadshot and like Harley Quinn like have sex and stuff. You don't see it, but like they do.
So I remember I've always asked this question, but Watchmen, that's not. What is that?
That's DC.
So it is DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watchmen. There's an HBO series coming for the Watchmen, and Jeremy Irons, who played Alfred in the newest Batman versus Superman and Justice League, is going to be in it in some way or somehow. I don't know how.
Who's the blue guy? The blue alien dude.
That's Dr. Manhattan.
Dude, he's fucking badass.
You can like see his dick, his blue dick, in Watchmen.
And he can grow in any size he wants.
He's one of the most powerful beings in all of DC.
Okay. Batman couldn't fuck with him.
No. Nobody can.
No. Okay.
Really. But
Iron Man couldn't.
Iron Man's Marvel.
I know.
No.
But if they crossed.
If they crossed?
Yeah. Superman could fuck with him. No.
Superman's DC, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Superman can't die on Earth.
So he could fuck with Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, sure. He can't die.
What about the Fantastic Four? What are they?
They're Marvel.
They're Marvel. Who's the silver dude who flies
Silver
the jet?
Surfer. Yeah, he's very powerful. He can fuck a lot of people up.
What about him against Dr. Manhattan?
It would. That's a tough one because Silver Surfer is like a celestial being. Like he's just something else. Like I don't know. I would. That's tough. I don't know if anybody's ever asked that question.
Yeah, that's
Silver
crazy.
Surfer versus, and the Watchmen is sort of. Watchmen don't really connect with the rest of DC. They're kind of like their own little sector for some reason. I don't know why.
Which was a good movie.
It's good. I'd watch it again. But it's almost like they're kind of like Noir knockoffs of like the other like badass, superheroes that everybody knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that Noir time. Like, I don't know. It's good. I'm excited for the TV series.
Yeah. There's also another series on Netflix, Lost in Space.
Yeah. Did you watch the original? I didn't.
It was like in the 70s, right? 60s, 70s?
70s or 80s. Yeah.
Danger Will Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched 2 episodes. There's 1 season. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I just watched the last episode.
It didn't. The previews didn't grab my attention.
See, I'm a space freak, Like, anything that, like, I see in space, I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had to watch it. And, like, the graphics were cool. Like, the concept was cool. It's Star Wars-esque. Like, the massive, like, the roulette or something like that. The roulette was, like, the main space station. And just seeing that kind of shit, like, it's cool, man.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Like, like, they meant to, like, send them off to different, like, colonies. Like, each colony, like, there was each family was like a colony, and they would go to like their own separate like safe planet to like start a new Earth, and then something goes wrong,
Right.
and they end up on this fucking planet that just fucking tries to kill you.
You ever watch Stranger Things or no?
Oh yeah,
That's good.
yeah, that is good.
I usually don't like shows or movies that are centered around kids.
But they just did it perfect, man.
But that's so that
The
nostalgia,
music.
yeah, the music is badass, but it's so nostalgic and just like that looks like fun. Like I want to be in that time period.
Granted, the first season was amazing, completely amazing.
Yeah,
The second season was,
it got a little crazy.
it did, but it was still amazing, but not as
That
amazing.
one scene at the end when Hopper and 11 are just fucking those people up in that wherever in that cave
Yes.
is just badass.
It is badass.
And
I thought Hopper was gonna die.
I
He
did
was
too.
getting
I was gonna
sucked
be
up
pissed.
and
I was gonna be pissed. Originally, 11 was supposed to die at the end of the first season.
then he wouldn't have a second season.
I know. It's like, where would you go with that?
Yeah. Something that successful that grasped all of America, you have to make another season.
They need to hurry and make the other ones before these kids get too old.
Yeah, for sure.
They start getting like too teenage-y.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I like innocent little kids or none.
Yeah. Netflix is taking over, man. Like all their original series and shit, they're really doing a really good job.
They truly are, and the product that they give you for $11 a month is good.
It's beyond good.
Like you wouldn't, if you didn't want to, you would never have to. You could watch movies for the rest of your life on there.
Oh yeah.
But I like to actually have physical copies of my movies.
Oh, same. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Did you tighten it?
I don't know. Because whenever everybody else, like whenever we lose like internet, somebody EMPs us, I'll actually have like movies to watch, and everybody else is gonna be like,
How are you gonna watch it? Like on your laptop? If we don't have like,
if I have a generator, it's fine.
that's true. I need to buy a generator.
Yeah.
They're cheap, like $400 or $500.
Yeah.
But then you have to have a lot of gas too to make sure that shit charges.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but
Right.
I mean, it'll be cool. Like I have like a badass movie collection. When everybody's like, "Oh yeah, check out my movie collection on my computer." It's like,
Who cares?
cool. Everybody has that.
Yeah. Check out my fucking. How many do you have right now? Like 300 or 400?
Probably close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Blake has a pretty good collection.
Yeah.
He's such a character.
I know. I need to have him on sometime.
He would just be smiling the whole time. He would just be over here just smiling. Just smiling.
You think Hitler's still alive?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why not? You think he died when they say he died?
I don't think that, but I don't think what we know. I don't think the history of what we know about Hitler is actually 100% accurate. I think there was somebody similar to Hitler that happened, but I don't think that it was like mustache man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he did, but
Not. They found like the remains of whenever they found him, right?
yeah.
And it was somehow Russia got a hold of that has like his original skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a woman.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of well, here's the thing. I heard that, I don't know if this is true, but history books are going to stop teaching about the Holocaust.
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Okay,
surprise
that's
me.
cool. I asked this chick at work a while back. I was like, "What do you think was worse, slavery or the Holocaust?" She didn't even know what the Holocaust was.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean that's sad for one. But you know, how many slavery in what way? Like slavery here in the United States?
Like slavery, like in the early 1900s.
Right. Well, I would have to say that the worst of both of those, there's actually one thing that's worse than both of those, and that was when we committed mass genocide to the Indians when we took over the United States.
No, I agree.
That's not talked about at all.
No, yeah, I don't know why.
They said that multiple sources say there was 90 million Native Americans that lived in the United States. 90 million. there's currently like 1 million in the United States.
Yeah.
That's 89 million people toasted, man.
Well, and I'm sure they were very prideful of their home, and they probably did not really want to negotiate with whoever came here. You know what I mean? So
I wouldn't.
They probably didn't back down, but then they didn't know what guns were.
No.
They had no idea that they're like, we've got fucking we're way smarter, and we will way outmaneuver you guys in any sort of combat. And then we started bringing over like guns and cannons and stuff. It's like they had no idea. It was just a complete massacre. You're right.
Yeah.
There's nothing they could have done.
No.
They had no like structural housing or anything whatsoever. Like they just had cloth for their house.
Teepees.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there were, and who knows, maybe the history is skewed on them too. Maybe they did have houses. Who really knows?
Yeah, I know. That's what. It's nobody that we know knows.
No.
Because nobody was alive for that.
That was in the 1700s.
My grandma's 96 years old. She probably knows more.
A little bit
of
more,
what
yeah.
happened than 90% of the world. 96 years old is pretty old.
It's very old. But even, like I said, it was 1700s.
She lived in Texas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a very, I don't know, Republican area. So their ideals and stuff are probably a little bit different than most. Texas, you know, everybody thinks, oh, Texas, we're badass.
Oh, she grew up, she grew up, what year was she born?
She's
96?
96, so 1930?
No, she's almost 100 years old.
1924?
Yeah.
Holy.
That's crazy, man.
She's born in 1924.
She lived through the Great Depression.
Yeah. So, wait, 1924, that would be 76 plus 18. No, she would be born in...
So just say she's 100 years old. That she would have been born in 1918. Subtract or
yeah,
add.
she was born in 1928,
yeah.
I think.
No, it would have been 1922.
So that would be...
1922.
78 plus 18 is 96.
Well, you go back 100 years, which would put you in 1918, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's 96.
Yeah.
So just 4 more years.
Yeah.
So it'd be 1922. That's fucking old, man. I want to sit down with it. Will she have like a conversation with you?
Oh, dude, she loves talking.
Really?
She's very religious. She's very family oriented.
What does she eat?
I don't know. She broke her ribs in her hand like last year, and she recovered fully from it.
She broke her ribs in her hands?
Yeah, her hand.
Oh, so she broke a few ribs and her hand?
Yeah, she like fell. She was walking out and fell down. I mean, she's got a will to live.
No, she does. I mean, the average age for a woman is probably like 75 or something like that.
96.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's not my blood either.
Oh, she's not your blood?
No.
I got you.
My dad was adopted.
Oh, okay. Same. My dad was adopted. Well, my dad's dad was adopted, but.
Yeah. So.
Would you want to live that long, 100 years old?
If I was healthy and as long as I wasn't sick and like I could pretty much take care of myself, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like wipe your own ass still and stuff like that.
But if I'm like bedridden and just stuck in a bed all day, like no.
Let me die.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. It's just so weird. Life's so weird. Living to be that old, seeing everything that you see. It's just I don't know. It's just weird to think about.
What's crazy is like Social Security and stuff now, like people that are like 75 years old, like running out of money. Like what are they supposed to do?
Well, you think about it, and I'm curious, because a certain percentage of our check goes to our Social Security, right?
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like they take like almost. It's 30% of our checks go to taxes and Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that you start at 16, you retire at 65. That's got to be quite a bit of money in there.
Yeah.
So the minimum right now is $1,200 a month is the minimum for Social Security. So you get an apartment for like $600, which is like the cheapest apartment you can find. You have $600 left for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
But you're old. What are you gonna do?
Think about this. Like, most people that we know and like associate with make like $2,000 a month, average. That's just a little over 30 grand a year, I think. It might be exactly 30 grand a year before taxes or with taxes or whatever. But like you said earlier, that's still better than 90%.
That's true.
Of the world.
It's very true.
Which is just crazy. But apparently nobody can live off of minimum wage working 40 hours a week, which I think minimum wage is what, $12.50 now or something?
Minimum wage now it's at $8.65.
Oh, it's still $8.60? I thought it was I thought it was up higher.
Well, yeah, it's like, or maybe, yeah, it's like $7.85, I think, or somewhere around. It's like 8 something, but still, I mean, you could live off that if you worked 40 hours a week. You just could not do anything else.
Yeah, but I guess if you have like 6 kids, you could live off of it, but you just can't do things that you want to do.
Well, with any type of kids, you couldn't. There's not a chance.
You would just
by yourself. You could.
Yeah, you would just literally go to work, buy enough food to like survive, and
ramen noodles.
Yeah, and then pay for your bills.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
Probably shouldn't get married.
No.
Probably shouldn't buy a house.
No.
You know what's crazy? There's been like huge debates amongst the smartest people in the world about buying a house or renting.
I don't understand that. The only reason that debate came out is so that they fuel people to rent houses so these people who own houses make money.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. But it's like they're like, I don't know, like, because if I'm not going to live there for more than 5 years, why not just rent for 5 years? It's going to be the same thing. I'm not going to make any money from it.
Well, you will. You'll build 5 years of equity. True. That's 5 years of putting money. And granted, you're paying half your rent's going to, or half your mortgage is going to interest.
But I think their argument is like, you don't have to fix things. You don't have to like replace, like, you know, a fridge goes out.
Right.
But still, that's not that expensive at the grand scheme.
Well, most houses don't even come with a fridge or a fucking washer or dryer. But if you have to, I fixed a water heater.
Yeah.
Replace the windows, replace the AC. Like, that's going to add value to my house, is it not? A little bit at least?
Yeah, it will. A little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to pay off then. My house is going to sell. And then if the market's up like it is in our city, you're making 3% each year. Mm-hmm. If I live here for 5 years, that's what, 15% more than when I bought the house for?
Yeah, if the market keeps going up like Donald Trump says it's going to.
Yeah.
Well, granted, we're on a 12-year bull market, I think. And I think the longest is around 12 years.
So we're in a bubble and it's going to burst, is what you're saying?
I hope not.
Another recession?
I hope not.
It's all bullshit, man.
If it does, then
once it, like you said, it's all over our heads. We don't know what's going on, and then whenever fucking Congress says, "Oh, we're about to stop the fucking government," banks are about to fucking just bail out. Dude, they talked about martial law in 2008.
Yeah, I know.
They talked about it happening. It's just like,
yeah. What was that all about? I remember that
the housing market
with Obama though.
It wasn't. I mean, Obama inherited it from Bush because it was the first year he was in office.
And Bush inherited it from Clinton.
Yeah.
That was
Clinton started it.
Bill Clinton's fault. Yeah. He took away all regulations on everything. It's like,
anyone and everyone could buy a house.
Hey, you make $20 grand a month? Yeah, sure. I want to buy this $350,000 house. Okay. Go to this small mortgage company. They couldn't turn down the business. Why not? I don't know. They say that the next thing is going to be like the student loan crisis because nobody's paying their shit back.
Well,
and I don't blame them.
I don't either. $40,000 a year for college? Fuck you.
Bullshit.
That's complete bullshit. 2 professors who have their own ideology and all this and all that, like, I mean, minus that, it's just too expensive. It's way too expensive.
Yeah, I literally learned what I learned from this. I mean, she was a nice lady, but I don't think that she was like that much smarter than the common person teaching me this stuff. It's like I might as well just read a textbook for 4 years. Like, I don't feel like I'm that much smarter now than I was before I went to college.
Well, and do you think like people who go to Harvard and shit like that, it's justified to pay that kind of money?
Most people who go to Harvard, doesn't matter because they have their family has the money, or they have they have a badass scholarship or something.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying out of pocket to go to Harvard like with
Student debt.
with no
With
money
debt.
that they have. You know what I mean?
I
It's
see
like
what you're
it's
saying.
rich people or
There's maybe 1 to 10 people who maybe are paying.
right that shouldn't
Grants
go,
and
that
loans.
shouldn't.
Right.
Other than that, it's just all fucking
Paid for.
rich, smart people. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
that
smart
makes
people,
sense.
but just rich people.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm glad I never did, man. I had the A+ program. I never decided to go to college, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I have minimal debt, and that just would have made it a lot more.
Well, the thing is, you can learn what anybody learns in college on your own. You don't need to go to that's what people need. You don't need to go to college to learn what you learn in college, because these professors are just normal people like me and you who just are professionals in one subject. It's like, okay, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but I could just read this book that you tell me to go home and read 20 pages a night and probably have the same amount of information that I did. It's like, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah. It's like, why wouldn't a college professor just start his own YouTube channel, say all the shit, and make more money than he does being a professor?
Oh, he could, but they'll take it down.
Well, I mean, you're right. They probably would, but if like he just didn't affiliate himself with that and just started teaching his own classes on fucking YouTube, he'd probably make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I'm sure people do that. And I know you could take like free classes, like Harvard classes online and stuff,
Really?
and like watch their like lectures and stuff. I don't know. It's different for me because I went to a small private school in Missouri. I don't know.
But with the amount of money that it costs, and I don't know what your circumstances are, but it wasn't justifiable. It's just like college is just like fucking hospitals, man. Granted, the only difference is you know how much debt you're going to be in with college as opposed to when you go to the hospital.
Right.
But it literally is just raping you into debt. Like, it's just enslaving you into debt massively.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's and you're not like as a teenager, you're not smart enough to like you have like adults telling you like, oh, this you need to do this, like it'll help you, and you're like not smart enough to really truly make your own decisions because you don't really know that much because you're just a kid.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh yeah, so like you're scared because you're like, oh, I think I need to do this in order to get like a good job and be able to survive in life.
Well,
But then you do it and you're like, oh, this kind of sucked. Like 4 years of this bullshit, and like the first 2 years you're just fucking around learning stupid ass fucking shit that
partying, drinking.
nobody cares about.
Fucking
Philosophy, like bullshit. Yeah, society's trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of grown men who's like, man, like, yeah, this makes sense. Let's make another 4 years after you're in high school, and then we'll charge you an arm and a leg for basically the same education. When trade schools are legitimately the best thing for you, and they're half the cost, sometimes even way cheaper than that.
Yeah, go to college for 4 years and then get a job where they're going to pay you $30,000 a year for 5 years until you can get like maybe a $5,000 raise and do that for 30 years
Yeah,
to where
fuck
you're
that.
making $90,000. That's what it is. I mean, it's
But it takes you forever to pay that debt off, and you're doing that for such a long time.
oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
When you probably could have got that same job if you knew the person, met him at Starbucks one day, just had a conversation with him, and eventually just found your way into the company or something like that, you know? I think we all know that this life is about who you know more than it is what you know.
Yeah, I know people who've gotten jobs just because parents or something. It's like they shouldn't have that job, or they aren't qualified. What are you who's qualified for what they do? I mean, what does that even mean?
Yeah, it doesn't mean much.
Like one of the like that Keith guy that used to be the CEO at Jose Pepper. Was he the CEO?
Yeah, he was the CFO or whatever. Same thing.
CEO, yeah.
CEO.
And he did not even know how to use the computer that anybody can use. Like, it's all about status, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just bullshit. It's like,
it is.
Just because you're 50 years old and supposedly you've done all this like great stuff, like, oh, here we'll pay you this, just to basically fuck around and do what? Nothing. Nada.
Well, I think a lot of the positions that people have been in that are the positions they are in now, any businesses that have been established since the early 90s, late 80s, it was a lot easier then than it is now to start that same business. 10 times harder, maybe. Well, especially more expensive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, like, if you and I wanted to open up a restaurant right now, you know how much money that would take?
It would take, like, close to $1 million.
Yeah. Unless we did, like, a food truck or a small restaurant that sat 10 to 15 tables.
Which, honestly, we could probably do a food truck and make pretty good money.
Well, we'd have to have a good menu, but...
we could make good money.
That's true.
A food truck.
That's very true. But you know what I'm saying? It's just...
if you go to the right places.
Right.
Like, if we travel down to, like, Austin...
Yeah, large populations.
Dude, you can make. My dad was telling me he knows a guy that makes like $180,000 a year doing it. Food trucks. You have low inventory. You have a truck. So we would pay $50,000 for the truck, or however much it is. And then if you have good food, you have good food. People like it. Come eat. Is what it is.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean,
it's true.
It would be kind of cool.
Yeah. You imagine a health inspector coming in your truck. Okay, looks good in here. That's it.
Yeah, you just like, okay, oh yeah.
How hard is it to keep it like a small ass truck clean?
You have maybe a couple grills, a bunch of refrigerator, little deals,
yeah,
a freezer. Like I don't know where you would keep your inventory for the week. I guess you wouldn't keep it at your house.
You wouldn't have to do inventory, man.
No, but I'm saying where you're gonna have to order food weekly. Like where you're going to keep all the food.
Oh yeah. You'd have to have a couple deep freezers
at your house.
Yeah.
But
it's either that or you're going to the market that day or every day when you go. And it's fresh
morning.
as fuck.
And that would be, I mean, that's probably where the best food is. Like people that get fresh food every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it, like you can probably make some pretty legit stuff. People are like, oh damn, this is good shit.
Yeah. And we're at Westport, man. You get €1 every time. That euro tastes good every time.
Oh yeah, and that's where you go. You have to find the events, but then you're working stupid hours. Like you're like out on Friday and Saturday nights from like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. fucking around with jackasses.
Well, you could fuck with drunk people because then you can charge them $10 a pop for a fucking bag of chips, and they would pay it.
Exactly.
So.
Well, like you hear about these people that go down to California and like do Christmas lights and make like $150K for like 2 months of work, or not even 2 months, like a month of work.
Oh, like people in the Midwest?
Yeah,
because they're so good at doing it.
They'll go travel to California where people are like, we don't need to do this. And I'm like, hey, I'll put Christmas lights on your house for $150. Like, oh, okay, sure.
That's genius.
Make stacks.
That's genius.
Yeah, it is. Like whoever thought of that's a badass. Like,
yeah.
And then you just keep the same lights for the next year for them. Like, here, I'll do it for $20 less this year, or whatever it is.
Oh, so you travel back there and you take the lights down, or they keep them?
Yeah, you just keep everybody's lights separate. You just wrap them up, put a name on them, alphabetize it, or however, and just next year, like, hey, you want lights again? Yes or no? No. Then you take their name off. Take those lights somewhere else.
Or you could just say, hey, I'll leave them on your house, but it's going to be the same price next year, but $10 less.
Yeah, or however much. Yeah, it's genius. Anybody could do it.
Yeah.
Not that hard to put up Christmas lights in your house.
Well, it's not. I mean, if you can collect $5 from at least 1 million people, like you have $5 million.
Even if you made $60,000 in a month, worth it.
Oh, for sure.
Even if you made $30,000 in a month for 1 month to go put up lights, and then you can figure something else out for the rest of the year.
It's just small shit like that, man. It's just like you have to be willing to take that risk. You have to be willing to leave your family, do it, make that money, and it's totally worth it if you can make that amount of cash in 1 month and just chill the rest of the year.
Yep. That's the hardest part is actually, and that's the hardest part about work in general is like not having a schedule that's appropriate for your family or, whatever it might be. It's like, oh, I have to work nights, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's like, and then like your significant other gets mad because you're, doing so, like, well, you have to. It's like, I have to do that. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you just want me not to work? And then that's a fight. Like, it's.
Yeah. I mean, luckily I have a reasonable woman. I think if I were able to leave the state for an extended period of time and make large amounts of money, I think she would probably understand. It'd be, at first she probably wouldn't, but then like after a few days she'd be like, oh no, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying that, everybody would be against that, but I think that would lead to other fights and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Being away from your wife or your husband is tough, and
yeah.
Money, man, it's just the root of everything. It's necessary, like you said at the beginning of the podcast. It's one of the first things we talked about. But at the same time, money is so evil, and it gets between you and your family and your loved ones. It's just, if I could spend all my time with my daughter while she grows up and watch her and just all that without having to worry about fucking paying bills, like, I would love every minute of that.
Yep. It's just a crazy system that we live in. It's like you have to work 80% of your week.
Of your life.
Yeah, but of your life. I mean, when you put it like that, and just to be able to do the things you want and like live in peace, really. Or you don't work like that, and then you are just as stressed because you don't have money. But then I don't know. It's give and a take. It's tough. Tough to think about. Tough to put into action.
Well, it seems like if there's any advanced civilization, it's the only. It's the only plausible way to look at it. From what we've seen on our Earth, it's the only way that makes sense to keep everything balanced. Because, like you said, if it was a utopia, it's not going to happen. There's no way. So the only other option is have people work and do mindless shit that makes absolutely no sense.
Right. It's like you've got people that clean for a living.
Yeah, they clean houses, rich people's houses for money.
Yeah, it's crazy. Why? That's not. Nobody really likes to do that, I don't think. Maybe some people do. I don't know.
So I mean, like a utopia would be just like people just chilling in their house, just playing fucking video games, watching internet. I don't know what a utopia is.
Any utopian society that you've read about in books or anything, like 1984 and stuff, there's always like some sort of like drug involved that people take daily.
Oh yes.
Like,
I mean, I'll be on ecstasy every day for a
like
utopia.
They like, I think in 1984 they called it like Soma or something, and it was literally just like, I think Adderall or something that they inject every day, or some sort of like cocaine-ish type.
You would get bored, right?
Well, yeah, and they all wore the same shit every day. It's too much to think about. I don't like it.
So I think we're both in agreement that work is necessary.
I think free will is necessary, and like having something to survive for is necessary. Because I think if you're just given what you need every day to survive without actually having to do something to provide for yourself, like I think that's where your mind just gets jacked up.
I think if we were actually traveling in space and we're going to Mars and going to all these other planets, I think a utopian society would be more plausible. Eventually we would. Eventually, if we had free energy, free fucking water, all that shit, like there would be no need to work except to travel to space and other planets and colonize them.
But that's fine as long as you're doing something fun every day. But like like, I get bored really easy. Like just after 2 days, like I could get super bored.
So virtual reality, right? Like you're submersed in this sim like world where you can build whatever house you want. You can be wherever you want. You could be swimming wherever you want. Fuck whoever you want. Whatever animal you want, a lion, and it would never eat you. That would be like.
Yeah, if you could change it every single day, then I guess that'd be ideal.
Right, like The Matrix or the movie The Surrogates with Bruce Willis. Like you just get into this robot and you just go live in this other world and you just do whatever the fuck you want in this world.
Yeah.
Be whoever you want. You could be president in your simulation if you wanted to be. You could be LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool too, and until a certain extent, and then I think that would also get old too, to where like you can just do whatever you want whenever you want. It's like being rich by like being a billionaire.
But wouldn't you rather do that than just do what we're doing now?
I mean, I think I would make it work.
Yeah.
But I think if everybody had the ability to do that, like shit would get crazy. I think people would like be killing themselves and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Not on purpose, but just like.
Oh, this is what it's like to be rich.
Yeah. Well, you hear all the time, rich people are like, "Oh, it's not great to be rich." Blah blah blah. It's like, I don't know. If I had millions of dollars, I think I could make it work.
Yeah.
But that's just our standpoint because we have no idea, and we'll probably never have an idea.
Yeah, true. I think if I were rich and I could just do whatever, I would just fucking just chill, bro. Get some country land, like 15 acres, buy some badass farming equipment, and just constantly be working on my land and my house.
Yeah, you have to have something that you can't just do nothing. Like you have to have something that's going to keep your mind. That's what life's all about, keeping your mind like interactive.
Yes,
if your
very
mind's
true.
not interactive, then you're fucked. And that's what I'm saying. If you have a shitty job that you don't like, your mind is not doing what it should do. It's nothing. It's just so that's why people get depressed. And I think depression is bullshit. I think depression's made up. I don't think depression's actually a thing. I think it's just people giving up and deciding that
It's being lazy.
Yeah, it's depression is too many people using that as an excuse of like, oh, I'm depressed. It's like, no, you're not. You're just bored or you're sad about something. That doesn't mean you're depressed. That's my dig. I don't know. I'm sure that it can be a clinically like mental illness, I guess, but
yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I think I kind of agree with that because yeah, but I mean at that aspect, if our minds always constantly need something to be doing, not to get bored, it's what would the afterlife be like?
I don't know. It's like I thought I was depressed at some point. But I'm not depressed. I'm just bored or sad or mulling about something that I shouldn't be worried about or stressed about something. I don't think that's depression.
So if you're continuously sad about where you work for a long period of time, you're just sad for a long period of time.
Yeah, then you just need to do something to change that.
Exactly.
Like nothing. But people make it. Doctors and hospitals make it okay. They're like, oh, here's some pills.
Oh, for sure, they want to make that money.
So then you take like pills and stuff that numbs your mind, and then like it makes it worse. Because then you need those pills to, then you're just like you're already in the hole, and then like you're 14 holes deep after that. Like it's so hard to climb out of that.
Life is just so many different turns and shit like that. But I got one question for you left, man, and then we'll leave it at that. We're close to the top of the hour for the second hour. Does the future exist?
That is such a tough question. I don't know, because when I think about the present a lot, and I get really annoyed when people are constantly like concerned with the future. Like, oh, I need to do this so that way when I'm 70 years old, I can. It's like you don't even know if you're gonna be alive that long. Like,
Yeah.
why worry about it? Just enjoy now. But I think about the past sometimes. It's like 10 minutes ago I was like outside chilling, and I try to like think about it and like try to like reenact it, and it's just like trippy to even think about like that I was upstairs like doing something different. Like, it's just very weird when my mind thinks about it, but I don't think that people can time travel. If they can, I want to do it, but I don't think you can.
So you don't think the future exists? Like, does it?
No, because there, the future. There's no future. It's now, and we're on a continuous movement. Like, we can't go to the future, so
It doesn't exist.
we're here. We're now, and
Yeah.
like, what's happening is happening live. We're live all the time. We're not. We can't pause. We can't fast forward. We can't rewind. We're
But
live.
And you can always go to the past, though.
You can think about the past.
Yeah.
You can't think of. You cannot. Well, I guess if we say it like that, you can think about the future, but you can't.
Well, the past happened.
The past did happen.
Now, the way you remember it, it may not be 100% accurate, but it did happen at one point or another.
The future is constantly changing, though. Like, there's no like defiant future, in my opinion. Like me moving that mouse kind of just like changed what's going to happen.
Right. So my question to you is, in your head, you premeditated that you were going to move that mouse, right? Like for a split second, you're like, man, I'm going
I
to move
just
that
looked
mouse.
at it and saw it. I'm like, I'm gonna move it. Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to move it. So technically, did you not think about the future that you were going to move that mouse and then you did? Would that not be the future?
Well, I guess if you think about it that way, it's like, well, I think tomorrow I'm going to go to the grocery store.
And Wands, if you go, isn't that the future?
Sort
Or
of.
would not the future exist at that point? Because if you thought about it and you know you're going to do it for 100% and then you actually do it tomorrow, the future happened. It exists.
Yeah, I guess the future is plausible. It's just not
Defiant.
Like, it's not. The future can change in seconds.
Yeah. So it doesn't
The
exist.
past can't change, though. The past is the past. But I don't. I think it's like the movies. I think if somebody did have the ability to travel into the like 10 years into the future, and my present self stays here and like still interacts and does things, like I'm having an outer body experience traveling to the future, and like I can interact with people and I'm like talking to people and shit. I think that would fuck some shit up.
Yeah, I would.
I think. I don't know. That's time travel is. We can't. It's so complex that we can't even think about it because we don't.
We can. Yeah.
It's so complex. There's nothing that our mind. We can't even wrap our heads around it.
That's some next level shit that we're not even close to beginning to understand.
And the crazy thing is, like, do you think that there's some people, like, there's somebody on this planet that they were born and their mind is open to that and they are able to understand it? Like, there's one person or two people or 10 people that are able to understand it.
Well, if the future doesn't exist, then there's no future. There would be no room for a time traveler. That would never exist. They could not go into the future because the future is not real.
Yeah. What about those pictures where you see that guy, like, in, like, the 1970s? Like,
On a cell phone or...
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's fake in Photoshop? Or?
It has to be.
Well, it's like you talk about the whole Matrix theory, like the 0-1
Simulation, yeah.
Yeah, like you think about that, it's like there's obviously a higher being than us, like, or else we would not be here.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, some people think that we were just born from like
The Big Bang Theory.
molecules like meeting up with each other, and like we just slowly an animal was formed somehow, and then, like, you know, evolution. I don't know. That's a entirely different thing. But for the planet to be the planet with no life whatsoever, like, the planet just, it's hard for me to think about that because people are like, they just automatically assume that the Earth was here forever. Like, but what created the Earth? What isn't doesn't something always have to be created? Doesn't there always has to be a creator? Like, even like God, like God was just God, like he just created himself. That's where it gets trippy.
That's where it trips me out, yeah. That's where I'm just like, what the fuck what is this? Is it like we're all looking through God's eyes right now and just living like this massive trip through God?
But the way that we think, it's like something, like I had to create this, somebody had to create this phone, somebody had to create this table, somebody created me, like my parents created me, like somebody had to create tree, like it was just here, like life just started somehow. Life, it's crazy. But who created space? Who created like the universe? Who created, like somebody had to create it, and then what about those people who created that?
Yeah.
Like who created that? It's just they just appeared.
It's beyond our imagination. It's beyond anything we could ever fathom.
Are we literally in like a simulation right now? Like,
odds are we are. Because if it's 17 billion years old, like they say our universe is, which I don't believe there's a way to even figure out how old our universe is. Let's say it is 17 billion years old, and let's just entertain that thought for a second. Dude, this probably been universes and universes and universes and universes, and this has probably been going on for a number we can't even fathom amount of time. But even then, there has to be a beginning. And to understand that beginning, I don't think that we'll ever know.
But maybe that's where we're wrong. Maybe there doesn't have to be a beginning. Maybe maybe humans created there had to be a beginning. Maybe beginning is not a thing. Maybe it's just a continuous cycle of just ongoing. Like, who decided that there just has to be a start and an end to something? We did.
Yeah.
We did. Humans created that.
Yep.
And that's where it's so trippy to think about. It's like, well, the way we think about things, somebody always has to create something to make something. Everything that we're looking at it was made by humans. But what if maybe there's just not maybe beginning is just something that's not even a thing. Maybe that's something that's just for humans to understand how things start. Maybe that's not even a word. Maybe that shouldn't even be a word. Start, end. It
fucks my head up, dude.
It's mind blowing.
God.
But when we think about it, like, you feel that, like you're thinking about it, and there's like a block. It's like, no, you can't access this level of like security. You're blocked.
Yeah.
And that's what trips us up. It's like we were created to want to understand these things, but we can't. We're blocked. We're blocked from this information.
But it doesn't. Even then, if there was no, if there never had to be a beginning or there never had to be an end, it was just, this is how it's always been, and we're just here. Even that doesn't make sense.
We're not capable of making sense, because maybe sense isn't even a thing either. Maybe that's something else. We created all of these words that describe things, but we just made them up based off of human emotion and what we think, how we interact. Everything that we created doesn't, just because that's what it says in the dictionary, doesn't mean that's what it is. It's
very true.
We just made it up.
But I mean, at least it allows us to have a conversation and try and identify things.
We can conversate with each other and stuff. That's great. Woohoo! But it's like,
the universe doesn't mean anything.
If you want to think outside of that, it's like.
So, like, when you think about everything we just talked about, doesn't it make more sense to have something is a creator? It doesn't have to be man or woman. It doesn't even have to be human. It could be a different entity, or it could be a simulation, and this is just a computer fucking simulated, a fucking badass computer simulation. Something created us. I think the Bible's explanation, whether it be wrong, whether it be far-fetched, I think that makes more sense than fucking just the Big Bang.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a God. There's definitely a God. There's a higher being, and I believe that, because I don't think that we're just appeared out of nowhere. I think somebody created us, and I want to believe that, because
I don't think when we talk he listens. I don't think that happens.
I want to believe that, because what do I have to lose? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like I want to believe that, and be a good person, and but it's hard to think about, because We all we know is what's been passed down. I don't know.
We'll leave it at that, man.
Yeah, it's
we'll hit it back next week.
crazy.
That's 2 hours of fucking Trae and Paul hitting it hard. Talking about everything under the sun, man. I don't know what the description of this video is going to be. I don't know what the title is going to be. I have no fucking idea, but we're going to fucking make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Trae, thanks for joining me, man. I really do appreciate it. I didn't think it was going to go 2 hours. I thought we were going to do an hour, but here we are at 2 hours, man. I appreciate that shit.
Yeah, it was good. I like it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so Trae's going to be said he's will be joining us a few more Sundays. We'll see if he does or not, but fucking subscribe, hit the like button, put a comment up below what you want us to talk about. Let us know what you fucking thought today about this conversation. I think we hit it hard towards the end. That was dope. But yeah.
Yep. We'll see you next week.